welcome to another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul, and we have a guest.
We have a guest.
Former BBL Surrey Scorchers player, Adam Riabi. Adam, welcome.
Good evening, how's it going?
First professional player to grace the studio.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
With an update for the BBL Trophy.
Yeah, it's so we were just talking just beforehand, and Adam kindly said he'd want to join in. And we first off just mentioned about the trophy and said the championship stops, then the trophy's for January, and then it kicks off again back in February. What are your thoughts on that? Just straight out of the gate.
Straight out the gate, it's quite unusual for me because it never happened that way when I was there.
So was it a double up game, or did you just play multiple games?
Double up. So I feel like it's solely due to kind of rest of players. I don't know what other motivation it would be. It would be tough. Sometimes we would play Saturday and there'd be a cup Sunday, and
really?
It would be nuts. It would be nuts. So it might be how the games are scheduled throughout the week. They may have found it might have just been best to do the cup and then resume the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably the sensible way to do it, because there's only 36, or there's only sort of 10 teams. So
it's 36 games in the season.
36 games in the season.
But the break actually makes it quite nice. It makes it unique. It makes it our whole focus, like the show, is BBL Trophy.
Yeah, and it's just a different way they've done it to compare to, arguably the in-season tournament, where that was double bubble games except for the finals. So that's more what you were talking. That was not similar, but they just made both games count. I guess with 10 teams you can't do that. Maybe for the numbers, I don't know. You more the stats. How would that work out? If you had 10 teams, would you be able to do that? Do you reckon? I love throwing him under the bus.
He's like frozen if you can't see him face.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I wasn't listening to what you were saying. I was thinking about a question for Adam, and I thought that's a really good question. And then you started talking
Sorry,
to
you're not
me,
important.
and I was like,
there we go.
What are you asking me?
The real truth is exposed. No, I was just saying, where you've got 10 teams, if you're doing double bubble for a cup and a championship game, would the numbers work out statistically? I don't know if it would really, because
it depends. I don't know. It depends.
It would probably take something away from that. I was saying the cup is the trophy, isn't it?
Like we said, the whole focus is the BBL Trophy for the next 3 weeks, isn't it? And I quite like that. It makes it unique. It makes it special.
Yeah.
And look at when you get to that situation, you have this moment in time where London are running away with the league at the moment. Now all of a sudden we go in, slate's clean, let's roll.
One of the presenters said that on the BBL show recently. So he's like, everyone's back at zero now, and that maybe was going through the players' heads.
Yeah.
So from a player's perspective, would that be? Is that what you thinking?
Well, if you're not doing so well and you're on a streak of losing, that kind of fresh slate is something that might help. You don't know. However, it could also hinder players, teams that have. It could also help or hinder teams that are on a streak. You don't know how it's gonna. Can they continue it into something else, the trophy, or can they, do they slip up because mentally they're thinking it's something else now?
Yeah, that was my question. Yeah. Like, would a team? I don't want to say purposely tank, or would they? Let's play the bench.
Yeah.
In that, or are you going for it? I don't know.
So a lot of times it can be strategic like that in terms of playing more bench. It depends, resting players or etc. Kind of doing a little bit of what the NBA does here and there.
Yeah. Well, you look at the Lakers now. What have the Lakers' record been since they've won the in-season tournament? Absolute shocking. They're pants.
And I could be mistaken, but don't they have a bye into the playoffs now?
Yeah.
Is that right? Or
something like that.
I heard something about whoever wins the in-season tournament gets straight into the playoffs.
There's some incentive for it, but
maybe it's that last wild card spot or something like that.
All I know is that they, their record has dropped off, and yet they won the in-season tournament. But as Paul pointed out, they had the easiest journey possible to get all the way up to that top bit.
It's
whereas Indiana actually fought a few beasts off to get there.
Yeah, no, it can be different for a player's mindset because you charge yourself up to win a trophy, the end goal is to be the winners of whatever. So having 2 goals going on at the same time, it's difficult. You can't, as a player, you have to focus on kind of one goal and get there, and then kind of reset and go to the next goal. You can't really have, like, psychologically, it's not really possible to have more than a few things going on at once. So maybe that's when they, like you said, take a step back, and their record so far has not been too good.
They got the All-Star game this year as well.
Yeah.
Vote. You can vote.
Yeah, you can vote. Did you have an All-Star game? Because I think they just said they were bringing it back.
No.
Yeah, because I think they had it many moons back. I don't know when it dropped off though.
Yeah,
I was curious.
Dropped off my time. That is back now. So that's
yeah,
good.
that's really good. I mean, again, is that if you're, for a player perspective, it's a chance to, I guess you're playing with your peers, but some of them are like you're running beside them rather than fighting against them. Or that's got to be a weird.
Yeah. It's a nice feeling, because the players that respect each other the most are the ones that clash throughout the season the most. And then next thing you know, it's like the prime example is NBA and Team USA, when they have to, they all season, all they're doing is trying to beat the guy from the Lakers or trying to beat the guy from Spurs or whatever. And next thing you know, they're all on the USA team, and it's like it brings that chemistry, because you guys know that you would fight in the season, so that way when it comes to USA playing the Olympics, for example, that player is going to fight for you then, so it builds a good chemistry.
Not in the World Championships though. They've kind of missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, missed the massive boat.
You know what? I just had a
and now everyone's signed up. LeBron, everyone is signed up for the Olympics now. They're all in.
They're going hard.
Yeah.
You know what USA is like anyway. They don't take stuff like that lightly, do they?
No.
So that's it.
World champions, remember?
To see if if anyone can take them on.
Yeah.
Oh, there's plenty of.
Just a thought about the BBL trophy. I'm curious for Adam, with the NBA in season tournament, what was the prize money for every player?
500,000 per player on the winning team. On the second place, it was 200,000, and then anyone who got round to that quarter semi-finals, I think, got 100,000.
So now
the third and fourth.
That makes a difference. So let's say BBL trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to have $500,000 per player, but let's say they had 100 grand per player.
I mean, still that
everyone's playing then, aren't they?
Yeah,
you said
true.
10 grand. It's a lot of money. Doesn't matter what. Here's
It's
5
true.
grand if you win. Great. Just you won it, and you're getting a bit.
Give $1 million to the winning team.
Yeah. I think the average salary for BBL was like between 4 and 7K a month.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 and 6, but it's somewhere along there. Yeah.
But that, I mean,
obviously the Lions are an exception. They'll have G League, NBA players that come. That's not going to be a 3 to 7, but the lower teams in the league, it's around there. So in terms of
I mean, having the people who own the league happen to own you.
You always say this.
No.
They're not saying, yeah, go on, we're just going to win because we win the league. They're not doing that.
No, you know what I'm getting to. They set the rules on the salary cap.
Oh yeah.
So what I'm saying is they set the rules on the salary cap, and they are also actually the pocket.
Yeah.
So, and that is not a bias. It's just a reality. That is the fact. The people who make the rules on that league happen to be the big. Well, so the rules on the league are FIBA. So that's, they don't tamper with those. But the actual what each team can do, they set that rule. So when you got, say, Surrey Scorchers, or you got, say, Plymouth Patriots, do they have the same pot? You can say, oh, we've got a 50 million cap you can have if you want. Great, we don't have 50 million. Oh, okay.
And I suppose no matter what any team get, London could offer to take them, could they?
So, well, yeah.
This is why we're not anti-London Lions.
No.
It's just that because
they got a brilliant win in the Euro Cup. They got a really good win.
Well, late in the fourth, that one.
Yeah, they just literally a few days back, and it totally deserved that one.
But again, like what I was going to say is, we're not anti-London Lions. It's just that because they are so far ahead of everyone, we just want it to be competitive.
Yeah, you just have to focus on
it's the
majority,
but
which
look
is
at second to seventh. It's like 2 wins or 3 wins or something. It's nothing.
But I love the analogy of using Formula One with this, because when some Formula One teams, if they've got the car right and a good driver, blah blah blah, whatever, they're off, they're running, and it is just who's coming second, third, fourth. It's, you know, no one's worried about first because they're just so far ahead, like London is. He called it probably week 7 or something like. I just give them the trophy now because no one's catching them, even if they got one chink or two chinks in the armour. they're winning, 25 games as opposed to everyone else. So I might say it makes the championship redundant, but you go, has anyone really got a shot at doing it? Sure, they have, but consistently night after night they win 85% of the games. So
Yeah.
that makes it difficult. However, that's a nice segue because then you go into this tournament, Caledonia being quite a strong team in the league. First game they play, they lose to Cheshire, who are also equally a strong team in the league.
Well, we knew that was going to be a big game.
But
very,
very
before
big
we
game.
were looking at it saying, look, you probably got Cheshire and Caledonia going through. Out those 5 teams, they were the 2 teams where we thought they'll probably progress to the semi-finals.
Only 3 points in it. You got people like Aaron Ray playing on Cheshire, and he's superb. They've done some good articles on him because they were saying how he was an NBL player and stepped up into BBL. And I think it was quite nice because it showed how if you're someone who learns, if you're someone who wants to take that transition, and you step up to it. And they said, oh, he's an NBL player. Yeah, he's also hitting 15, 17, 20 points a night and leading the team. So all the people that you've bought in, he's showing them how it's done. And I bet he's not getting paid the same as them because he was only an NBL player. And you go, that's where you've got to put the money into people like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know Aaron, but so we were talking about Caledonia. That was their first loss. You think, all right, fair enough.
That was quite big as well, wasn't it?
There was only 3-point difference, right?
Oh, was it
against
the next
Cheshire.
one?
So the next one, they lost to Plymouth by 7 points. I mean,
Where was that? That's got to be at Plymouth.
yeah, it was Pat Wright's clearly had involvement in that.
Is Plymouth a hard place to go to as for an away game?
That pavilion looks so cool.
The pavilion is one of a kind, to be fair. The fans back the team so much, as do the Scorchers fans. It's kind of like that similar environment. The kind of backdrop and the lighting at the pavilion is what makes it so different.
Is that the one where the court seems brighter than everything else
So
around
nothing else is lit apart from the court.
You've said that before,
so
haven't you?
it's a great place to go. It's quite nice and old fashioned, and obviously the court is obviously super new, but in terms of the venue, it's got like a nice old fashioned feel to it. But it is a tough place to play in, but nowhere that you'd be like, the crowd is so like is too tough or you can't hear each other speak, because there are some places that I've played in where you can't even hear in timeouts anything. They're like the toughest places, and that was even like grassroots level, like in Solent Kestrel days, or playing in the States. It can be like that, so it's not too difficult of a place. But like you mentioned, the pavilion is an amazing place to play in.
It looks like somewhere I'd love to go just to experience that, because it, like you say, it was that lighting and the way you think, well, hang on, everyone looks dark and you can just see vaguely people. But I always wondered if the court was not blinding for as a player, but
no, there's a lot of kind of reflections, and if you kind of look up too much, it can mess you up. But in terms of your shooting, it's not, as a shooter, you kind of look out for stuff like that. It makes a difference, but it's not really too dramatic as far as
I
other
was thinking if
places
you were
I've played
sighting
for.
a shot up and then you sort of seeing that.
Well, it's a lot higher than that, isn't it?
It's higher, yeah, but if you think about the pavilion, it's the way that the kind of pavilion is, there might be a light that's in the corner, and because the pavilion's so big that it actually is in line with the top of the backboard, so you end up seeing that light, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So like it might not be that it's like the one right above you won't be able to see that, but the one that's over in the corner, and from each angle that you're on the court, might make a difference on something. But you see a reflection through the glass in the backboard or something like that, but it's nothing to make a difference about. But it's definitely a different place to play in.
That's not a problem we have to worry about, seeing our reflection in glass in it, unless we had a ladder.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, flipping out. I'm using any excuse in the book to, I missed a shot. Yeah, I missed it because that light was on over there. If you could dim that a little bit and make a difference.
As far as when you played there, was Pat Wrights around, the mascot?
Yeah.
How, like, out of all the mascots, we always talk about Pat Wrights because he seems the one that seems the most
Crazy.
Yeah, the one who does the most stuff. Do mascots ever play a part in putting players off, or I mean, when you get to professional level, are you are you listening and watching at the same time, or I don't know?
Mascots, not so much. I'll tell you what we did used to look over our shoulder is the kind of half time or throughout the quarter when they do like bring a guest on and do like a half court shot. Like you might like be listening to what coach says and then like just use your peripheral to have a look and see if it goes in. Because if it goes in and everyone starts screaming because they just won like I don't know, a season ticket or something, like it's quite funny. But in terms of the mascot now, they never do stuff to kind of annoy or like how like they do in America where they like annoy the other team or something like that. There's never really like that.
Now you mentioned the Scorchers. Obviously 20 points they beat Sheffield Sharks by. That is I mean, when you're beating a team by, I won't say 20 points, but when you're beating them by something, that is a significant win, isn't it? A 20-point win.
Yeah. It's not a mistake at that point. Yeah.
No. So I know Paul said before, like if you're losing by like 3 or 4 points, that's maybe a coaching error.
Yeah.
If you're missing by that much, there's something physically going on.
No, what you're saying that is a quote from Mick Byrne.
Yeah.
So you remember Mick Byrne?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So Mick, we played a National League game, and I remember we lost, and I think we lost by 1 point, something like that.
Yeah.
And he was apologising. I remember thinking, why
is Mick apologising?
Firstly, Mick's apologising, but he at some point in the coach journey he said, if and this was just his view on it, he said if a team loses by 1, it's the coach's fault because he's not done something. I don't know. That was just his view on it.
Yeah, but when you lose by 20, it's like...
If a coach loses by... If you lose by 20, it's the team. If you lose by 1, it's the coach. I don't know. That's what he said to me once.
Sometimes it comes down to stuff like that. But...
So some of these...
A lot of times it doesn't,
as well, like say like 91, but you're looking at 71. I'd look at that as the offense has done their job, but actually the defense has really kicked in there. Because if you're holding someone to a 71...
Yeah. Keeping someone below 80 is...
Unless they're that shocking with their shooting, which they might have been, they just might have had one that's... But you're not getting a whole team doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've literally... he can't help it. Literally showing him the scores. He's looking straight down the box score. Yeah.
It's got to be done.
You've got to look at my mates, see where they've got to.
Saquon Jameson, he had a double-double. 18 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah, Saquon is doing a lot. That's my guy. He's very, very dominant when it comes to offensively and defensively guarding bigger positions, and he's only 6'7", but yeah, very strong presence, and it looks like he's come back more of a defined body, but also adapted a little bit more now to the BBL. Obviously, his first season was with me at the BBL, and then there was a break, and then now it's he's back.
Mark, we need to get down to Guildford.
Yeah,
we need to walk in there.
Look,
with Adam Riabi tops on.
We actually mentioned in Adam's episode, which will be coming up. So check that out and stay tuned for that, because that was a brilliant one. But one thing you mentioned, we actually talked about, was teams fielding 9. So there was 9
Only
people
9,
at Sheffield, but 12 listed under Surrey.
Yeah.
Again,
and I think it's injuries, isn't it?
Yeah.
We saw it with Manchester. We saw it in Newcastle.
Yeah, there's one where it was like 7 or 8 players. I just find it so interesting. Like, how can you not have that team there?
Yeah,
Is it
might be an injury thing.
An injury, or people not... I guess at this level, you're not saying someone's not travelling. I mean, we only in the UK, it's not, but it's getting on a bus and so forth. But
I mean, the only bright light, I'm just going to show this to Adam, is Kipper Nichols. This is the only thing they can walk away from, really, in the game, was this superb move that he did here. That's an Adam Riabi move, isn't it?
That's an Adam Riabi type move.
That is.
Yes.
That's him getting the ball.
Again, look,
going through top of the key.
Now,
boom.
Now they're playing at home and they're in the blue kit. We've brought this up before. They were playing, I think, Caledonia there. Caledonia had a light blue kit on, and they had
Yeah.
a dark blue kit on. I was like, hang on a minute.
They don't normally do that, do they?
No, and I showed it to Paul, and he was like, the refs surely should have called that and said,
Yeah, that's...
Well, I didn't see the picture. The kits were distinctly different blues. When
Even
I saw it, I was
Even
like,
growing up, though, they used to, if it was anything of the same
Yeah,
colour, it was
change
like change.
but
Or,
I don't know why, but maybe because it's just 80s, 90s, and 2000s. It was always your white kit was home, and your colour kit was away. That was just,
yeah.
and it, but then other leagues do it the other way around, don't they? Where they have the colour kits home and the white kits away.
Yeah.
And, well, just from what I saw
That's what
in
you said.
Australia, the Adelaide 36ers, they have a dark blue kit which they wear at home, and their white kit they wear away.
Yeah, it's that picture.
What's your favourite kit you've ever worn
Oh,
in your life?
favourite kit?
Yeah.
Probably say the kit I wore when I played for England. That's the kit I'd probably choose.
You can't beat that, can you?
Slid that
You
in,
can't
didn't
beat
he?
that.
Slid that in.
Yeah, no. Most proud jersey is probably that one.
Yeah.
Playing proud, I still pick the England jersey. Most funky looking jersey that I like, in terms of style, it's probably my Scorcher's jersey. Actually, yeah, you know the one with the sleeves on it.
Yeah.
The short sleeve is kind of built like a muscle fit top.
Yeah, that's like pink one. Is it pink one side and
pink or
black
white,
the other one?
yeah.
Yeah.
You find the picture of the one that you showed me, which was the Aboriginal one.
Oh.
Show Adam that picture. That's funky.
So
It's the OG one.
for the Adelaide 36ers, you have a third kit, and they take Aboriginal art and
Yeah.
they turn it into kit. I loved it. It was sold out when I was trying to buy a kit there.
Yeah, that is funky.
How cool is that?
That's like an African print or something like that.
It is mixed
like
with
that.
like a mandala sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
and,
cool.
And,
isn't
the,
it?
and the word on there, even though people pronounce it, it's pronounced Ghana, which basically means Adelaide.
Okay.
That's really cool though for a third kit though. You
Yeah.
gotta embrace the culture that's here.
Yeah.
That's such a cool thing to do.
I like that.
Just want to show this is the Portsmouth Force mascot. Have you seen him?
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm liking it.
Right, Mark. So
So they not only did Caledonia obviously lose to Cheshire by 3 points, they then obviously lost to Plymouth by the 7 points, and that's Group A. So that is the 3 games that they had this last week. It's unusual because normally we'd be usually talking about 5 or 6 games, everyone's playing and it's all going on. But because they've split them into these sort of 2 groups, you got 3 games in one and 4 in another. It's sort of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Lions took the Eagles, and I actually saw some highlights of that one, and that was like 22 points. That's, I'm not saying I don't turn up, but at the Copper Box, Lions, Newcastle. The last time they did that, Newcastle had the win and then threw it away.
Yeah.
yeah, I've said this loads of times. I think they're up by 14 with 5 minutes left or something like that.
They totally threw that away. Then this time they've gone back to the Copper Box, and London have just reminded them this is our house.
Yeah. Personally, I've only managed to catch London Lions on a L once, and that was a New Year's game, New Year's Day game. Now, sorry, Scorchers have got the best New Year's Day record in the BBL.
Have they really?
Yeah, and it was London that we caught. Yeah, so it was quite cool. They had a few injuries, but that's don't really need to mention that. But yeah, we caught the L New Year's Day, and it was definitely something that was worth the hype about, and the fans loved it.
You celebrate as a team. You celebrate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a big one, especially in our season that we weren't doing too well at all. So something like that, massive boost of kind of chemistry and everyone.
Do you know what? You see that in sports sometimes, don't you? You definitely see it in basketball, where we've seen when LA were romping over in the West Coast, they came over to Orlando, I think it was, at one point, and they thought, we're not going to do that well. And then Orlando went back over to the West Coast, and you thought, and they weren't doing very well at the time. It's like 3 or 4 years ago. And they won both games, and you think,
Yeah.
why is Orlando beating the Lakers? And
Sometimes you have those matchups, don't you?
it's a weird matchup. You go, you're down here, we're up there, but for some reason, we're like your doppelganger, and they can't get round us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really... but yeah, as a team, you've got to celebrate that. We
Yeah, you have to.
Dink that crown. And Scorchers did that again this year.
Yeah.
So that's us for the Lions. But
Hang on, we just got to talk about
Yes.
this was who have London played
that's what I said. The Eagles.
Newcastle.
and who else?
Oh, it was Leicester Riders.
I think this was against the Leicester Riders. I got another thing for Adam. Here we go. Yeah, boom! Josh Sharma. Check this out. Against the Riders. This is Adam. Loading. Here we go.
Dodgy Wi-Fi.
Don't let him on the Wi-Fi.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nice. I think he had two of the same kind of dunks that game.
Yeah.
Straight down the lane. But he's a huge presence for the Lions.
When he's playing.
Yeah.
But he it's funny, there's been a couple of games he's been really like,
Yeah.
where is he? We haven't seen him. And then you come out of a game like that and he'll just be taking the game.
Yeah. There's definitely something for his presence when he is on. I'm not too sure what the dynamic is with all of his other teammates, or if they think that he plays better against certain people. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, because would you have someone big like that and Sam Decker and then a few of the other characters, you go, individually they're all doing their part, but how do they play as a team? Obviously they all put the points in, but what was I'm not saying a shame about that was actually Leicester Riders played Bristol Flyers during that week, and that was another 21 points game. Like Leicester absolutely smashed the Flyers. So you think Leicester were thinking, oh, we're on a roll here, and then they go and play London and then get slapped around a little bit by maybe a little bit less. Yeah, that is.
You sure it's the Riders? And they play in Manchester?
No, Leicester Riders play Bristol Flyers.
Oh. What was the score in that?
Manchester were playing the Eagles. I just said 95-74. Literally, this is what I put up with. It's like
It's been a long day.
I
It's
could
been
be
a long
sat
day.
here naked on fire, and he's like, "Is it hot in here?"
Oh, I've seen a highlight for another game. I'm looking at it going, that looks like an amazing highlight by Murin Thomas. But
Yeah. And then, I mean, look, you got people like Leicester and Bristol. They're sitting in that 3rd to 7th category, and Bristol at one point at the beginning of the season, they're flying at the top, and they just tumbled, and they picked up a little bit, then tumbled again, and they keep bouncing around. Leicester obviously have got some heritage in the BBL with winning quite well, but they just haven't had traction this season at all. They've just sort of ping-ponged, lost a few players, got to gain a few players. That first win, you think they're probably thinking this is great, go to London, and to lose it by sort of 15, you think,
I mean, London are through now, aren't you? You're looking at that league. London are through. I mean, they would have to lose both games significantly, and they would have to lose against Manchester and Bristol, right?
Yeah, and to top it off,
We both have losses already. So it's going to be, I mean, you never know, but it looks like London are going through. As a former BBL player, who would you think is going to be that going to get that second spot? Are you going for London for the top spot?
Yeah, I probably would have to go for London for the top spot.
you can see like Newcastle are 1-1.
Yeah,
Newcastle beat Manchester was the final game that was played this week, and that was a pretty convincing win as well. So
I think I don't know, because like we mentioned earlier, apart from that kind of one first spot in the normal league and now in the trophy, it seems as if everybody is it's all for the taking throughout everybody else. So you never know, it could come down to a good game between Newcastle and Leicester. You just don't know who's going to go through. I think that Leicester will pull through.
Ooh, that's what I was going to say. Who are you going to call it?
I think Leicester might pull through.
Really?
Yeah.
I would like to say Leicester. However, I know some of my friends in Newcastle will shoot me if I don't say Newcastle.
The Bald Eagles.
The Bald Eagles and Paul Blake and Keith White. I'm going to have to say the Newcastle Eagles because,
It's funny, isn't it? Because if you're in that category, probably as a player, you're already thinking, right, we've got London as this.
Yeah.
Do you do you sit there and think
Do you tank for
We're-
that game?
we're playing for second? Do you
gets-
think
Actually,
that
no,
way?
you can't, because it could come down to point difference. So you can't.
Yeah. For a trophy, it's different.
Yeah.
For the league, maybe, but in terms of strategic, the players never know. So it's almost like maybe the coach, he knows what he's doing with the subs or stuff like that. So it comes
Yeah.
down to like behind the scenes
It's
kind
a
of thing.
game being played that
Yeah, sometimes
so
a
it's
lot
like
of times
chess
it's like
moves that
yeah.
the pieces don't know.
a lot of times, you know, it's like saying if you finish in the 7th seed, it's better than finishing in the 6th because then you've got an easier way through. It's stuff like that you know people just do, and they do the same in kind of the NBA and stuff, resting
Yeah.
players, etc.
So that's it. That's Group B.
Yeah,
And just flipping to Group A again, Cheshire, Plymouth,
Mm.
and Surrey are all on one win.
yeah,
All three of them are on one win.
yeah.
Whereas Sheffield's on one loss, but they have only played one game. Caledonia on 2 losses. That's they're gone.
I think it's definitely. I think it's over for Caledonia, to be honest.
Which is not ironic. I think is probably the best word, but it's the only one I can think of, given that they famously won that trophy with that
Yeah,
buzzer
Great
beater.
buzzer beater.
Yeah, that absolute in their home stadium.
yeah. It was a great game that, and they done well to win that. But
That was a heavy shot.
yeah, it was.
And you could. I know they've done it for the cameras and they've done well with that, but genuinely, when you watch it back, even now, you think, oh, that you felt that they clawed that win.
Yeah,
To go out now, you think, ooh,
yeah. It's tough.
Oh,
They-
that's tough
they're
to
gonna feel-
predict.
they're going to
It's
feel that.
tough because,
That is really
like
hard.
we spoke about, everyone is kind of all the same as it looks in kind of the standings for Group A. But
Come on, Group A,
in-
let's have it.
Group A, like you said, you'd get shot. I'd get shot if I'm not to say Scorchers.
Yeah.
I've got multiple people that would have it on. And to be fair, if there something about Scorchers, if you know, once we get on a roll,
Yeah.
once we get on a roll, we do take advantage of it. And it
Okay.
seems if things are clicking, they'll click. However, you just don't know because Cheshire do look strong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
Yeah, through the league, they've been very strong.
Yeah, Plymouth, I think you kind of here and there they'll be really good at some points, and then next game you'll be like, what happened here? And that's the same for every team in the league, kind of bar the top few. But I think we'll see something interesting definitely in that group.
I think, Mark, I'm going to go for Cheshire, and I will go with Adam and say Surrey Scorchers are going to get.
You won't get shot. It's all right. You go for someone else if you want.
No, I'm going Scorchers.
Yeah, let's do it.
And who else?
And for
Who else
the
is going through?
Oh,
So-
Cheshire.
oh, so just
I think Cheshire will
Cheshire
win
and
it.
Scorchers.
Scorchers will come second.
yeah,
But
I can see them beating Plymouth. I can
I've
see
got a
them.
feeling about the Sharks. I don't know what it is. I'm just looking at that going,
The Sharks are sitting at the moment in 5th in the championship, and they're literally they're one game in hand, which is why they're below the Eagles. But that's it. So if the Eagles lose their next game, they're literally tied.
Yeah.
Cheshire 3rd place, Caledonia are 2nd, and yet in the trophy they're out. So, like you're saying, the league, Plymouth is still in running, Surrey is still in the running.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it's tough for that group.
Yeah.
You've got Surrey, like I mentioned, on a little bit of a streak, and now they're not last, they're not second to last, and
No.
they're third to last now. So slowly,
it's a clean slate, isn't it?
yeah, in terms of like the cup, the trophy, it's kind of anybody's, and it's only a game at a time. So
And the thing is, when you get to the semi,
yeah,
and it's one game.
Yeah.
I know everyone looks at the Lions and goes, "Oh, are they gonna?" But you never
never know.
when it's just that game 7 and forget the rest. It's like, who knows? And we know that teams go into the 4th ahead of London, and we know teams are starting the game very strong against London as well.
You've just said Leicester were playing Manchester. They did literally tonight. That was the game that you were seeing, and
right.
Leicester absolutely hammered the Giants, 104-88.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought the game was tomorrow. I was looking at the wrong date.
well, with that in mind, Mark, let me just show you this.
You have my apologies.
Let me show you this. Mern Thomas
That won't
with
happen
16 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. And arguably one of the greatest BBL trophy moments so far.
Let's have a look.
Adam Riabi, let's get your views on this.
Oof.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That has got to be the best dunk so far in the trophy.
Yeah.
Definitely pulled out his athleticism there on that one.
He pulled that one back, didn't he? He went for it
Yeah.
and then went, nah.
So Mackenzie's getting that ball top of the key, passes it down to Mern Thomas on that left-hand side baseline. I like the way he pulls the ball right back.
He went for it and went, actually, I've got more time, hasn't he?
Right back
Yeah.
behind his, like, almost touching his back, and then
Gave me like
slams it home. Boom!
Give me like a D Rose kind of vibe.
I mean, look, the dunks are one of the things that actually I've been really impressed with watching the BBL.
Yeah.
They've been, just looking down here, like LaQuincy Rideau, Rideau and Jalen Perkins. He's had some absolute bangers this year. But some of them have been the same.
Yeah.
You're not getting any just jump up and just slam it in. Like, you're not getting that. Everyone is going to the basket, aren't they?
Yeah,
It's always
true.
there's always movement associated with a dunk.
Yeah.
Is that something that is just because of the style of basketball? I was curious of that, because you see in the NBA, you see people just sometimes getting dished under the basket. They just jump up and tip it in. You don't
BBL's getting more aggressive.
you don't get that. A lot of people are really just like that dunk. They're having to make the space.
Yeah, and we've been seeing this season a lot more alley oops as well. I've noticed than past seasons. I don't know about you guys, but from when I was there, yeah, of course, there's alley oops, every few games or so. But now I've seen a lot. Scorchers have had a few in a few games. There's been others there's consistently from Lions, etc.
It's the Eagles. I've seen a couple from the Eagles as well. I was trying to think who it was. I've forgotten the name. Taj Green.
Taj Green.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Played against Taj, good player.
He looks very aggressive.
He's very attacking.
Oh no, he's super aggressive. Yeah, and that's something that he uses to his advantage. Definitely have to make sure you got him on the scout, sorted him out on the scout properly to make sure you know how you're playing against him. But yeah, he's definitely one of the more physical, dominant forwards in the league.
And when you're going into a game like this, you're talking about the sort of scout reports, and you're looking at how players have moved, and do you take in how they played when you played them last, or do you look at it fresh each time?
Fresh.
Oh, really?
Fresh. So the answer is both.
Yeah.
But you more focus on what they've been doing now. So of course there can be a lot of work. So if we've played in 2 different seasons, then you can understand that during the summer people work on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's kind of game to game, you typically stick with the same scout report.
Yep.
It's too difficult to track every game, every player. So you typically just learn what their tendencies are and just learn how to play against their general tendencies.
So what happens with...
Mark, can I just say that was a fantastic question?
It wasn't bad, was it?
That was a great question.
So what happens when you have the players moving? Because you brought it up with, I can't remember which player it was, but he was playing on, I think it was Leicester last year, and then now he's playing for someone else, so he was having a homecoming game. There's quite a lot of player movement like that in the BBL.
Talking about Evan Walsh.
Yeah.
Former Scorchers. I grew up with Evan, to be fair.
Oh, real?
Yeah, he's my age. Good player, but yeah.
When you're playing against that, so you're like, I know him, and you even got, that's even, okay, so there's 2 questions there. What happens if you personally know the person as well?
That's even worse.
That's even worse, because then
worse.
You can't, if I played against your brother, I know when he's going to do that little turn and try and do his little fadeaway back thing. I could try and block him, and I'd be reasonably successful at getting close to him. You can ask him that, but any other player do it.
Are you comparing my brother to Evan Walsh?
No, but it's because I grew up with these guys, so I literally know when he does that little thing, and
you learn.
So I've just learnt that little nuance. I know what he's doing. I know when he's going to do a crossover because I can see what his body's doing.
Yeah.
That's got to be a disadvantage, because they will know that you know that, and the same as they know your moves.
Yeah, it's difficult because either you do the moves that they know you do, or you don't do them, but then you're not playing to your own advantage.
Exactly.
So like, it's like, can you develop your game enough to where you're fluid to change, you know, your skill or your patterns of shooting or your patterns of driving to the lane? Can you mix it up and be a bit more versatile rather than the, you know, if they know that you're a one dribble pull up kind of guy, then they know to just guard you for one dribble.
I guess that's like the Kawhi kind of step, because Kawhi's got that weird slow step, but he beats everyone on the step, because even though the step is slow in movement, the pace that he takes that step, it always catches someone just that little bit before, doesn't it? So everyone is expecting it. Everyone knows he's going to do that. You know it's going to happen. You know Dirk's going to do a fadeaway.
Just can't stop it.
You can't stop it. So then you're just, like you said, playing your way. So what happens when you have these players then that are going from one team to another on a, not for coaching, but I guess that's the coach's call, isn't it?
We interviewed Adam for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up with these questions then?
Well, because it's relevant in this BBL
Well, they're
thing.
good
Because
questions, but why don't you come up with them then?
Because then we can get more out of Adam.
Using me.
No, but well, that's what I say. But I'm curious because of the player movements that we've just sort of mentioned on this. Like, as a player, what do you know? It's like, this guy's played with us for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So he knows some of our plays. He knows some of our patterns and stuff. I know it's a coaching element.
Yeah.
But what happens on a...
So when you run
a
play, is he like on the court saying, fellas, it's going over there?
Well, if you're a smart enough player, yes. A lot of coaches, obviously with teams changing their coaches, obviously they bring a whole lot of different things, and being a great coach is also being able to adapt every season. So you wouldn't have the same plays every season. You might have the same kind of go-to plays, or kind of standard plays in terms of down on offense. But in terms of, like you mentioned, trying to read the game too much and kind of, you know, cancelling out what they're going to do because you know what's coming. Sometimes they'll know what's coming and still won't be able to stop it. So it's almost like the players aren't so good to where they can stop every single thing. That's not how reality works, but they can try. You know, great players have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options in them, so that once they know one, they can rely, you know, someone is going to break down at some point. That's when you find those really good offensive teams, which is something that Leicester have done well in the past few years, obviously on their streak of winning trophies, etc.
No, that's really interesting.
I had a really good question in my head, but Adam's answer just took me so far away. I was really listening to what he said, and then I just, as he was finishing, I thought,
what was the question?
Well, how was my question? It was a really good one as well. It's gone. So who do you think is going to stand tall above everyone else in the BBL trophy this year?
It's got to be the crown. I reckon it's going to be
the
London Lions. Yeah, they're consistent and they've got the kind of the best investment for the best players, and also the coaching is top of the league. So probably see that again.
Well, Mark, because of our guest today, I'm going to have to disagree with him. So I'm going to say, sorry, Scorchers are going to win it all.
Yeah,
dear,
go on.
dear.
Well, if that happens, I'm in big trouble.
That's fun. Yeah, that'd be great. Well, I'm gonna so I can go left field a little bit. No, I'm not going to go left field. I'm going to say Cheshire.
Wow.
Because I think they're absolutely playing their socks off.
Yeah.
And again, with consistency, they got some bigs, they got some shooters, they got some people who drive. As a team, I think they're really quite effective.
Yeah, their point guard, LaQuincy, he's doing a lot of work at the moment. I think he's the top in assists for the BBL, and he went to USF, University of South Florida, which was in the same city as mine, my university, when I was playing basketball in Hillsborough. So I used to go over to USF and go and watch them train, and I'd go and work out in their facilities. My partner at the time was the female player there. So always, you know, watching the dominance of how you kill in USF and how you kill in college, then coming over here, it translates, and it's good to see, good good players reaching out to different waters and still producing the same.
You know what, Mark? We interviewed him for 2 hours. He's still saying stuff, and we're like, "What?"
Yeah, love it. I just wish some of their kits would be just improved. That's what I've got to say. I think Cheshire could do better with their kit. Cheshire could do better with their kit. And that Sheffield kit that you like, the grey one.
I like it.
Really don't like it.
I like it.
Doesn't translate on TV.
But
I'm sure up close it looks nice.
NBA players have, NBA teams have, all the money in the world, and they're still getting kits wrong. So I reckon we'll never get there.
I mean, Washington with their gold kit. No.
Some of it's atrocious, but
yeah.
lucky this is the BBL podcast.
There's I think there's an NCAA kit that has got a grey kit that's amazing.
Really?
It's not like Sheffield. I'm trying to think who the team was now, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
Unusual, but yeah.
is it not Michigan State? Like that sort of colouring?
I don't know. Anyway.
It's a baby's kit.
It's not that one.
Well, that's our wrap up anyway for the BBL. The trophy's been really good in terms of what it's delivering, but I think it's going to be a big week this week, because I think this week's going to be the week that's going to say who's going through and who's not, pretty much. Everyone's had one or maybe 2 games, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, Adam, thank you so much for joining us
I appreciate
on the second
it.
episode. You're going to have to get him back again at some point, clearly.
Well, I think we're all waiting and anticipating breath to see what Adam's next step in his career is.
Oh, yes.
Let's do it. We'll be the first to know.
We can talk about you then. When you're playing a game, we can come down and bother you. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, Adam has got his own show on the Talk of Basketball podcast.
Fantastic.
It is coming out soon.
Tune in.
Yeah, tune in. Thank you for listening. I've been Mark.
I've been Paul.
And I've been Adam.